Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing today? Welcome in. We are going to jump into continuing to try to finish this Dreadnought. So let's get right in with it. Alright. We have the base. I will be painting this base. Let's see. Yep, I have to paint a Space Wolf also. We're gonna start with some bronze. That's right, Culture America. How you doing this morning? Hope you're having a good Wednesday. I got to watch some videos on Dawn of War 4. Some like pre-alpha impressions from some YouTubers that I watch. Got to hear about how like the game plays and everything, which was interesting. It's good. Doing that this morning, so that was cool. I'm pretty excited for the game. Hope it turns out well. I saw Imperial Guard are already in the game, even though they're not like one of the 4 playable factions. They're show up in the campaign as one of the AI factions. So, good sign they will probably be the first DLC faction. Which I'm excited about. I like the Imperial Guard. I like playing that style in RTSs, so look forward to it. Doing too bad. Alright, nice. Hey, Flotsam. How you doing? What are you painting today? You have been painting something just about every day, haven't you? I'm curious what you get to next. You're doing a great job on your minis, though. I love the methodical approach to painting and how you're really trying to learn what you can from it. I think I need to get the shoulder pads on this mini. Still on the wizard mini. That's fair. That's fair. Okay. Hey, that's cool though. That's really cool. Man, I am tired today. I am pooped. Trying to get some bronze where we need it. I think we're gonna do the inner shoulder pads black because, you know, it's a Space Wolf. I might have a couple transfers I can put on this mini as well. Everybody else up to today? It's kind of a quiet morning, isn't it? Silver. Other things we want to be bronze, maybe. Yeah, some of this other stuff. Finish practice pile of minis I got. Hey, cool. That's really cool. My painting backlog went from almost nothing to way too much in a day. Just taking my time on this one mini. Just spending a good week on it. Maybe I want to get these viewports in bronze as well. Different angles. Hey Zen, what's going on, man? Hey Blue, what's going on? Yes, I did see that right before I went live. I saw your Dreadnoughts. They look so good, dude. I love the classic Dreadnoughts. I always loved that Venerable Dreadnought mini too. And I never got one. But I guess I could probably find them really cheap if whenever that Grey Knights Combat Patrol comes out. But no, it's cool. As Philippine Space Wolves, I'm pretty indifferent. Honestly, I'm just not sure of the colors that I'm using. I'm sorry, I don't have any strong opinions one way or the other right now. Probably because it's like a dead Space Wolf, so... I'm just going through finding things we can paint in bronze. kind of accents we can work up on this mini. Yes, this turret's going to be under the Dread. He steps up on it, something like that. You know, minus the big base under his feet and everything. So, yeah, we do have all the weapons complete, so just to give you guys a picture, this is the completed disintegrator, twin disintegrator cannon, or heavy disintegrator cannon, whatever it is. We got the other one, it's the exact same. So the other one's right here. I have the whatever these are, I don't remember, something incinerators. Delivery arrived. Oh, cool. Alright, hold on. And then we have the, I don't know, concussive resonators or something. I put another wash on the inside here. I didn't like the red being as strong, but like a little bit of a glow. And I put a little bit of like a brown, kind of a brown dry brush, like soot around the outside of it. But that's what I got. Those are the weapons I have for it. Got in general here. Oh, nice. Your Dawn of War board game arrived. Sweet. Well, hey, I guess the Dawn of War board game having Primaris stuff makes sense now, right? Since that's the game that's coming out. Did you guys watch or listen to any videos from people that played the game? So a bunch of creators released like thoughts and opinions. They got to play a demo and we're talking about it. So it's 4 factions at release, but the Imperial Guard are also in the game. What they were saying was the mission that they got to play, it was a campaign mission, and in that campaign mission there were Imperial Guard, like you were rescuing an Imperial Guard regiment as the Blood Ravens. So I imagine that whether it's a day 1 DLC or something, they might launch with Guard, but Guard will probably be the first like DLC race. Which, you know, in my opinion, as far as DLC races go, having the Imperial Guard in there is great. Chaos is not in the game. There has been no word about Chaos yet. So it's, yeah, Space Marines, AdMech, Necrons, and Orcs. Yeah. Chaos is always there? Yeah, it's true. Yeah, Chaos will probably be at the end of the game or something. There will be a... like the last mission, you know, it was Chaos all along. Like, that's how it always is. And since they're on the planet of Cronus, it'll be everybody. Because that's just how that planet works. Or worked in Dark Crusade. Okay. Yeah, Tyranids would be cool in that kind of a game. So like Dawn of War 2 was alright. I liked the story for Dawn of War 2. I didn't like the multiplayer. But the Tyranids were cool, but like it wasn't like a big enough scale for like Tyranids to really feel like Tyranids. And this game seems really big. So hopefully we get a good showing of Tyranids whenever they do show up. Because I imagine, unless the game flops really hard, I imagine we'll see Tyranids. I'm hoping to see modern Dark Eldar as a faction. Not the old 3rd edition Dark Eldar models like the first Dawn of War has. Our base colors on here, guys. Go back to Cronus. He baffled they didn't include all the previous. Yeah, because they have what? Tau, You got Eldar. You got I don't know if Soulstorm take place with Cronus? I know it was like multiple planets. I know Dark Crusade was Cronus, and it's basically Chaos Marines, Imperial Guard, Tau, and Eldar, I think, are the factions that aren't present in Game 4 so far. Yeah, Tunic. Yeah, just having tons of them. And the way the from what creators are talking about the population cap, it seems like armies are going to be giant. They were talking about how, one person said they won the mission with like, and they had a ton of units. Said their pop cap is at like 150, and the maximum population is 300. And they're like, I don't understand. Like, if that stays around, they're like, man, this game there's gonna be a lot going on. So it'll be interesting. Soulstorm is not on Cronus. Okay. 2,000 point army in the table. Yeah, it's definitely more than like a 2,000 point army. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, I think like from what I have seen, I think it looks good. We'll see what else they start showing off. It's supposed to come out next year. And now it makes sense why Definitive Edition came out when it did. Because it came out a week and a half ago? 2 weeks ago, something like that. Like just enough time for it to come out, and then they announced the Dawn of War 4, so everybody bought the Definitive Edition, and then it's like, oh yeah, by the way, we have the next game. Sneaky marketing. Okay. Knowledge about the game model scripting. You have a single model showing a couple different. Yeah. That's fair. Would have bought it regardless. Yeah, it's true. It's totally fair. Yeah, the swarm units. Yeah, it's exciting too, and allegedly December is supposed to come with the announcement of Total War Warhammer 40k. So I'm curious how these games differ, because I'm getting a lot of Total War vibes from the UI and everything in Dawn of War 4. So I wonder if like how 40k Total War will be different, and also how it's going to be different from other Total War games, because Total War has been a pretty specific formula in its history, and I know you can change that up a lot. I'm curious how that's going to work. Silver. Like, yeah, when you do like the swarm mechanics and stuff. No, that makes sense. Okay, do we grab the smaller brush? I think it's time to grab a smaller brush. Yes, Total War 40K is probably the big one I'd be looking forward to. But I'm also a huge Total War fanboy, so it's on brand for me. Yeah, I think that's it for our silver, so let's get out next color. No, Total War is a grand strategy game, so it's kind of in two parts. So Total War is an empire building game, typically with historical games, but Warhammer Total War is probably a better kind of analogy to what we'd be talking about. But yeah, Dawn of War is an RTS. Total War games are typically, there's like a turn-based element that is empire building. So for Warhammer, you pick a race and a faction, and you will conquer regions, and you'll build out buildings, like economic buildings, and then you'll train armies like specific units and have generals and everything, and you'll move about the map with those generals commanding armies and stuff. Then when you go to fight a battle, so you meet someone, an army, or you lay siege to a city or a fort or whatever, then it goes down, you play a real-time battle with the units that you brought to battle. There's no like training extra units into the battle, there's no base building in an RTS style. That's all in the like grand strategy map. That is Total War in a nutshell. So it's a lot bigger scale than what you see in like a typical RTS. A little Civ-ish. Civ is they're never quite as in-depth as Civ, because you know they're balancing like two completely different games, but yeah, I mean you could say a little like Civ. But, you know, with the battles, you know, you'll when you start a battle, there's typically like a deployment phase of the battle. You'll set your army out where you want it. In the better Total War games, the maps that you fight on kind of correspond where you are on the map. So if you're in like a heavily wooded area, you'll fight in like a forested map. If you're, you know, defending a bridge, you'll fight a bridge battle. There's yeah. What in the world, Greenleaf? How you doing, man? I don't know what you're talking about anymore. I've given up trying to figure it out. Welcome in, though. Yeah, and Total War is much more of a sandbox game. So a typical Total War campaign, so like Warhammer Total War, is you literally have the map of Warhammer Fantasy, so like the old world, but like the entire world, and you can pick from was there like 20 something different races you can pick from, and each race has multiple faction leaders that you pick that all kind of play unique. So there is and then that affects how you kind of build up your army and like the units you focus on, the kind of buildings and your style of like conquering and everything. Yeah. No, I've never seen Game of Thrones. I tried to watch it like 3 times and could never get into it. Not my jam. Okay. Some different things. Let's get out some black. Hey, Sir Strumming Fish, how you doing? Came out. I don't think I could watch it. It came out today. Yeah. I think this mini needs another like kind of black accent. I think the front of this turret is our place to do it. Let's paint that black. Mix these colors up. I'm just kind of making up this color scheme as I go. So painted exactly 2 Space Wolf minis in my life. Both of which were for 40K. Alright, a little bit of variety in there. I need back on the bolt pistol casing here. Mini is this? It's tank turret. Yeah, this is the base to my Saturnine Dreadnought that I've been painting. So this Marine is dead. Just hanging outside his turret. And the Dreadnought is stepping up onto the turret as he walks on by. That's the idea. That's what I'm going to try to get across. See if that works. If that that vibe comes through. I can see under his hand there. Okay. Yeah, it's got a nice, lovely hole right through the tank and chipped little things. What this ultimately was, it was a failed 3D print, this this turret, and so I decided just to chop it up and put it on the base. But he's gonna stand on it, something like that. How it's gonna go. Okay, before I get his face or anything, I think I'll do his face separate. Now let me silver on this thing. I don't know what this thing's supposed to be, but it's weird being gray. Alright, we're gonna put a wash on here. What are you guys up to today? Anybody do anything fun? We're gonna take this brown gray wash. That's what we're gonna use. I'm gonna thin it down just a little bit with some flow improver. Tends to go on really heavy. Continue on the Fountain Court Guard, nice. Lord of the Rings minis sound like fun to paint. Been a while since I painted something for Middle Earth. That's something I love about the Middle Earth miniature line in general, though, is just how simple the minis are overall. Obviously, a lot of exceptions to that, but the minis, a lot of the minis can be really quick to paint, which is nice when you're just painting up an army. And you typically have fewer miniatures in an army. A lot of Games Workshop's other games, if you do have a lot of minis, they're all really small and they paint really quick. Of the game of turret toss. Yep. Yes, he was. improperly stowed munitions led to this catastrophic I guess turret toss would be the word for it. We're gonna wash this whole thing down. We'll do some dry brushes on it. We need it to look grimy anyway, so we'll start that. Just a coat of this brown gray wash. You want to my T-54? My opponent knows where my ammo rack is. Yeah. When all of my opponent's weapons specifically target the point of the tank, makes it launch a mile high. No fun. Yeah. Stupid Abrams and their safely stowed ammunition. That's great. How are you doing, Metal Guard? Also, Mydro, what's going on? What it is, it's going fine. I went to work out this morning and pulled a muscle in my neck. Not too thrilled about that. I think I kind of slept weird, and then tried to go this morning and do something, and yeah, I was kind of feeling a little bit like, man, my neck's a little off, and then yeah, sure enough, I'm gonna pull weights, and I feel my muscle just pull right out from where it was supposed to be. Father-in-law to the hospital. I'm trying to shake off some respiratory. Oh, that's rough. Okay, well, hopefully everything's okay. Alright, we got a wash on that bad boy. Cool. Good stuff. Hey, Big Papa, Star Laser, Misfit, welcome in, guys. How are you guys doing? Oh man, we are in the middle of painting this destroyed tank on the base of my Saturnine Dread. That's the goal today. If I can do this base and do weathering on the Dread, which I guess I could do now because I'm waiting on that wash to dry. It is the legend himself. Yeah. Brown paint here. Things I want. I have this one thing right here. Brown before it's too late, and then I can grab a ruddy brush and we can do this. Big Papa, how you doing, man? How's life treating you? Dabs of brown in different places. So much free time on my hand. Oh wow, oh nice, okay, alright. Painting terrain. What terrain you been painting? Been good? Anything you want to share with the class here, or keep that all to yourself? Painting family's doing well. Everybody's tired, so that's about what we got going for us. Painting son's been a grump, but he's got soccer tonight, so his league is still looking for more coaches. So they haven't like started practices or divided out teams. They're doing like a camp kind of thing this week with the kids, and this is a new league my son has joined. He was in a community league has had soccer leagues going on for 30 years maybe, or at least sports leagues and stuff going on for a long time, and they cost money. It wasn't a significant amount of money, but we don't exactly live in a wealthy area, and a community came in and offered to do a soccer league for free, and everybody jumped at the chance. So we're trying out this free soccer league, and we're gonna see how it goes. My son, he played, so the league he played in before his age group is U8 soccer, so it's like, I think 8 is the oldest you can be in the league, so it's like 6 to 8 for the age groups. This spring, he played in a U10 league as an 8-year-old because his coach and some of his friends were moving up to that league, and so we liked his coach, and so we decided to stick it out and try U10, and he did really well. He was probably one of the smallest kids out there. He was not the youngest kid out there in that league. A lot of his team were were U8 kids that moved up to stay with the coach, which was cool. But he going to this new league, he's back down to U8. So we're just like, dude, like painting something, like, dude, you're gonna crush it in U8. Like, and I assume there's a lot of the same kids that he knows from his from the other league, because a lot of people kind of moved over, it seems like. My one big concern about this league is his previous one. It was like, I don't want to say it was competitive, but they played with actual soccer rules, and in U8 you had goalies and you played positions, and you know, there were different things like that. I don't know if this organization does that, or if it's just like, you know, kids running around like maniacs and no goalies and everything. So we had heard that maybe there isn't going to be goalies, which means that it's more just like a, you know, a very like little kid friendly league, and I don't know if my son will like that, honestly. The kid likes his I think he would like the competitiveness of our previous league better. So if it is like that, well, my son will be in U10 anyway next time he plays soccer, so it won't really matter. But yeah, I had seen soccer leagues for like U8 that was, you know, no goals, and the fields are super small, and it's, yeah, just everybody chases after the ball and goes for it, which, you know, is what you think of when you think of like little kids soccer. But the league he was part of was very much like positions and score. They kept scores, and they had a tournament at the end, and you know, and they had yeah, it was like actually like playoffs, and people played positions, and you know, if you were a defender, you weren't allowed to go past like the halfway point, and like, you know, there was like the structure like that, and like people got really into it, and I think the kids really like that. So we'll see. And Painting Son loved playing goalie also, so it's gonna be really sad if he doesn't get to play goalie, because he's a pretty decent goalie. He played goalie a lot in his U10 league, and he did really well. He's a really good defender too, so you know, having positions I think is good, and allows him to kind of figure out the things he likes and all that. So anyway, we'll see. My buddy, I don't know if he's in stream right now, but Killa Cam, his son is also playing soccer, is in U8, so we get to chill during practices, so it'll be great. Goalie, center back, yeah, he's a good defender. He's his first couple seasons, he's just really scrappy. Like, I don't think he understood the danger he was in, like charging after kids like twice his size, but he didn't care. So he would just run in there and just go for the ball super hard. It was great. I loved it. But no, he's a solid defender. Even against the older kids, he did really well. So his only thing is he's just so short, he can't keep up sometimes. He doesn't run quite as fast as some of the bigger kids. But that's okay. He doesn't need to be the best. I think this scarf thing around his neck, I'm gonna paint that red. We're gonna do a burnt red, so when that dries we'll do that, and then we have like his face to paint, and then we'll start getting some of this other bits here. The back line, so cool here. Yeah, he struggles playing up front. Yeah, he doesn't have like the most accurate kicks, so he kind of it's difficult for him to score goals. His last season, it was last fall, his last time playing U8, he played there was one game he scored his first ever goal, which was awesome, and then he went on to score 2 more goals in the same game. I think he scored like 5 or 6 goals that whole season, which was really cool. But again, he played defense a lot, so he had a good team. So yeah, I was freaking out. And my son playing soccer, I learned that, you know, his first sports, I learned that I am a yelling parent. So I am a very quiet and introverted person. But yeah, I yell a lot during games. So positive things, but I do yell a lot. Yeah. My mom was a yeller. Man, she would scream and yell through all of her games. It always embarrassed me. So I'm kind of ashamed that that's me too. Yeah, no kidding. You know what? I gotta look something up real quick. I need to... That is this weekend. Okay, cool. Like at first with 30k Droidica Dreadnought. It's absolutely crowing on me. Oh, the big Saturnine. This guy. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. I like it better in person than the pictures. I still like it better than the Terminators. So yeah, I haven't even assembled my Terminators yet, but I'm working on that. I have the guns painted here. So these are this is the disintegrator. Really happy with, and then I have the little chest guns. Oh, a little bit of green, and this one, the little concussive whatever resonator. I don't know what it's called, but that's that little gun. So it'll look good. It'll look good on the Dread and everything. And I plan on buying more weapons for it because these are all magnetized and they come with just the magnet imprints in it. So I'll magnetize them, which will be really nice. And thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm excited for this thing to be done. I don't know if I'll use it anytime soon. I have seen people assembling and painting these without the big shoulder pads, and they look really good. So you don't have to build them with the shoulder pads, which is crazy to think about. They kind of have like, yeah, they don't look incomplete at all without the shoulder pads. It's the same with the Terminators. People are building them without the shoulder pads. So the shoulder pads also aren't quite as pronounced as it initially looks in like the photos and stuff. So like they're big, but it's nice to have like a cool surface to paint on them and everything, and they look good. The build was time consuming. It was nice. One of the things I noticed with just about every miniature that you assemble in that Saturnine box is that they're assembled in an almost monopose way. However, The way they achieve that is that they just make it's like a little like tab and slot. They don't have weird cuts like 40k monopose minis do, where you're putting like half an elbow on a mini and it like fits in a perfect way. There's very little of that. The tactical breeds have that with their legs, but that's it. What you can do is if you cut that little tab off, there's pretty much limitless posability with these minis. So for example, this Dreadnought, when you assemble him how he's supposed to be assembled, both of his legs are just in this position right here, just like almost straight up and down. He stands straight, he's not walking or anything. I cut a few tabs out of the knee joint to lift the leg up, to bend his leg, and then I cut tabs out of these like toe pieces to bend the foot because it kind of wraps around something. So that was an example of the pieces, the tabs that I cut out of this. But it's the same on the turret. It's the same on the Centurion mini, the Mark II Centurion. It's the same on the arm, like the shoulder pieces, the arm to shoulder pieces on the tacticals. So you could put any gun on any of the minis from the tacticals. And I don't know about the Terminators and the Saturnine Praetor yet, though, because I haven't got to them yet. But I assume they're the same. I heard the Terminators are very posable. So, yeah, we'll see. We will see, how those turn out as far as posability. But I've been really happy with that. I really like that idea of, like, to me it's kind of like best of both worlds. Like, it's the ease of just putting the mini together and all the pieces just fit together, and that's just kind of how it is. But then there's also the other end where if you want to go the extra mile and you want to assemble everything with all these cool poses, and you want to have a sprinting Dreadnought or whatever, or the Terminators with their feet touching their head or something, like, you can do that. It's just that little bit of yeah, exactly. It's that little bit of like extra effort. It's not extra effort like I'm assembling resin now and I can't breathe the fumes. It's like a good amount of extra effort. Yeah, and if they keep that up with these minis, I'll be really happy. Really happy with what they have coming. Okay. Yeah, the red scarf is cool. I think that'll help. Still got the best first name. Hey, Raja. How are you doing today? Picking up some Sector Imperialis. Oh, cool. All right. Which one's the Sector Imperialis? That's just like the ruined city terrain, right? Is that what that is? Or is that the that's not the Legions Imperialis terrain? I can't remember anymore. The ruined cities. Okay, sweet. his beard in a little bit. Okay. Still in that rise view. What? I have no idea what you're talking about. His hair. What's an appropriate color? Space Wolf hair color. Should we do like blonde hair? Is blonde hair appropriate? Blonde hair probably works. Gonna make him look like a Viking. Oh, sweet. Did you play the original Raja? I've been playing through a Dark Crusade campaign with the Imperial Guard. It's been fun. There are a couple things that I wish were a little different. Like, you can't use like WASD to scroll. You can't change key bindings or anything, but... I'm having a lot of fun with it. Dirty blonde hair, yeah, alright. Dirty it up. I don't want this guy looking like Duke Nukem, which he kind of is right now, so... No, I thought this, brown would look a little different. Okay, you played just the original. Well, alright, alright. Well, personal opinion, if you play one of the campaigns and you want the more like open world experience, I think Dark Crusade is better than Soulstorm. Dark Crusade just happens on one planet, but and there's two fewer factions. Soulstorm added 2 new factions, but I don't care for the 2 factions they added, and some of the mechanics in Soulstorm aren't my favorites, so... but, you know, after I finish Dark Crusade campaign, maybe I need to play a Soulstorm campaign and check it out. You'll play Necrons? Yeah. Yeah, Necrons the Dark Crusade campaign. Necrons play really weird, though. They play really weird Raja. Because Necrons, they don't use the requisition resource, they just use power. And your builder units are the only ones that capture strategic points. And strategic points give you population, I'm pretty sure. So strategic points increase your pop cap. Yeah, yeah. Hey, Dawn of War 4 is coming. Yeah, and Crucial Blue said the Soulstorm campaign is a little difficult to manage. Yeah, yeah. Stupid Sisters of Battle and their Celestine. Yeah. My Guard campaign is probably the most boring campaign ever, but I have one strategy. It's great. I go up halfway up the map. I capture the middle strategic point. I build up a crazy ton of defenses, including a bunch of barracks, like infantry barracks. I garrison the infantry barracks and build turrets. Because Guard can garrison buildings, and they get really powerful when you put a bunch of units in buildings. And then I just build up my defenses until I get a Baneblade and 2 Lehman Russes, and I just steamroll the enemy. That's my strategy, guys. Increases pop cap and the speed at which units are built. Okay, that's what the strategic points do. Yeah, yeah. Which you need, because your units train really slow. So that's fair. There you go, Blue knows what's up. If you've been doing a Soulstorm campaign or Dark Crusade, Blue, which one have you been doing? You were playing, what, last weekend, right? On Friday? I am the worst type of guard player. You know what, though? It wins. What matters. I also learned when you're defending, when the AI attacks you, your territory, at least in Dark Crusade, and you're defending, and you had conquered the whole map, you built up, fully upgraded everything on the map before you ended the game, so it all shows up again when you start up the game again. If you click auto resolve, even if the enemy has nothing but their commander, you will lose. And all your progress, your hours of progress of that 45-minute game that you took to build up everything before you beat the enemy so it was defensible, means nothing, and you just lose it all. So you have to manually fight every defense. Yeah, Rage. Yeah, Blue. Rage is gonna jump on YouTube with you for a little bit. Dark Crusade. Okay. Yeah. Which the multi-planet thing, it's essentially the same, right? I think it's just a couple more regions at the end of the day, but I don't think it does anything. Changes any mechanics. But I didn't care for the Sisters of Battle or the Dark Eldar in that game, so never played with them. Okay, let's highlight some stuff. We're gonna highlight skin. Just learn strategy. Yeah, it's really fun. Dawn of War, the Anniversary Edition. Oh yeah, okay, yep. Yeah, if you get the Definitive Edition, I think it's $17 if you own the Anniversary Edition. If you get it in the next week or so. So it's good. It is the same game. It's not like they added a bunch of stuff to the game, so don't expect it to be like a bunch of DLC in the game or anything. It's literally just updating graphics and some UI stuff and the sound design and everything. That's what it is. 17 US. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Or rest of the world friends, but $9. Oh dang, well that's cool. The first game I ever put in Steam, in my Steam library, was Dawn of War 2. Way back when, way back in 2008 maybe. I'll join you. And also play badly? Yeah, we could just all play poorly on stream. Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with it on stream, but not on stream, but off stream. I don't know if I want to play it on stream because I want to play my campaign, and again, my campaign is the most boring thing that you could watch because it's the way I feel like I have to play to win. I'm not letting the AI beat me. Dawn of War 2, in my opinion, has a really fun campaign. I like the RPG elements in the campaign. You win a mission, you find gear, and Upgrading your squads felt really cool, like eventually getting them Terminator armor and everything. I really liked that aspect, but yeah, it's not the same game. Yeah, you want me to 1v1 you? I can do that. I'll play guard. One v one me, bro. You did an Eldar campaign in 2. Which one had the Eldar? I don't remember the Eldar campaign. That must have been an expansion that had that. Because Dawn of War 2, I played the Space Marine campaigns with the RPG elements, but you must have had the yeah. You hate guards, and oh good. There will be many for you to try to kill. Yeah, so Raja, you played the worst campaign out of the first Dawn of War 2 or Dawn of War games. So Dawn of War 2, the original game, there were 2 expansions for it. The original Dawn of War 2 campaign, you played as the Raven Guard, surprise, surprise. And it was a semi it's not open world, but you had choices. Like you could choose which missions to take and stuff, and if you took certain missions, it was kind of like XCOM. You took certain missions that would affect certain things, like if you didn't do certain things in time. But you always played as the Raven Guard, and you had I want to say 5 squads in total that you eventually got, plus your commander, and they would you would level them up and find gear for them and everything. Yeah, Dawn of War, the first expansion to Dawn of War 2, I think it was called Chaos Rising. It expanded on that. So you continued your campaign and you would actually be able to use the same troops and the same level ups and everything. You would take your progress from the first campaign and just pour them right into your next campaign. So they had all their like level ups or their gear or whatever, and so you just continue on with it, which was great. The second expansion was Retribution, was awful. It had 3 campaigns or 4 campaigns maybe, but it was just linear, and it was the same mission that you played no matter what race you played as. So you're playing as the Orcs, you would play that same first mission. You're playing as the Guard, you're playing as the Eldar, like it was all the same. It was bad. Yeah, Retribution was really bad. I got through 2 missions of that campaign. I was like, nah, this is dumb. Yeah, start with the first Dawn of War 2 campaign and then do Chaos Rising. I think you'll have fun with it. It's got better, the RPG stuff is really good. Big Papa, I would recommend, it depends on what you like. If you like the old school like base building, hold on, where's my paint? I'm looking for specific paint here. Okay, well, easy. If you like the old base building and like big armies and stuff like that, then Dawn of War 1 would be your you'd probably like that more. It also has more factions. Dawn of War 2 is much more tactical, like small units. It's much more focused on like keeping individual soldiers alive, and there's a lot more to that, and like upgrading the units to do specific things. So no, sadly Tim Curry does not play Russian commander in Dawn of War 1. There are no filmed live action cutscenes like Man and Conquer was able to pull off and just be amazing. That was Red Alert 3 with Tim Curry. Red Alert 2 had Jesse Ventura, which was the one. Red Alert 2 was my favorite Command and Conquer game. I played a lot of Red Alert 2. General Carville, that was Jesse Ventura's character's name. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, Red Alert was amazing. Yeah. Black Jesse the Body Ventura. Yeah, yeah. Oh man. Yeah, because he was Tim Curry was the Russian commander, and I never played Red Alert 3, so yeah, I still remember the voice lines from like the cutscenes in Red Alert 2. I played those campaigns so much. Yeah, they were so overacted and terrible, but I think it was on purpose, just how it was supposed to be. Put that wash up. They all phoned it in. I remember when so I played a ton of Red Alert 2, and I remember when Yuri's Revenge came out, the expansion for Red Alert 2, and watching the trailer for that game blew my mind. The guy did it. Yuri did it. He went rogue. Age of Empires, Red Alert, Warcraft, Starcraft. Yeah, favorite games. Yeah. So mine, Red Alert Retaliation on PlayStation 1 was my first ever strategy game. A friend had it in elementary school, and he showed it to me, and I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life, and I need it. So I got it for my birthday after like scouring every like game and toy store for like weeks. I played a ton of Age of Empires. But I used to love, man, I used to get all kinds of like random little like RTS games. So yeah, AoE 1 and 2. AoE 1 I would play for the cheats, but otherwise I didn't care for it because you could only get like 50 dudes in your army, which was lame to me. Like, why would you play a game where your max population is 50? You just tower spam and win. I really liked. I had an RTS called Cossacks that was like a 17th and 18th century RTS where you could just get like massive armies of like musketeers and pikemen and stuff. It was really cool. So that was cool, and with that came a demo for a game called Sudden Strike that was a World War II RTS that I ended up buying, and I loved Sudden Strike. And I had Sudden Strike 1 and 2. I never got 3, and I think a 4th one came out, but it looked like it was just a remake of like 1 or 2 or something. But yeah, Sudden Strike was a fantastic game. Another classic RTS some of you might remember was Empire Earth. Anybody remembers that one? It was very Age of Empires in style, but you would travel through the ages, and there were like 15 different ages you would take your civ through. And you'd start like the Stone Age, and you'd work all the way up to like the future with like mechs and stuff, and like everything in between. Yeah, that was Empire Earth was good. I played that a lot. That game it didn't play super well. It was just cool because you could you'd have fighter jets while your opponents are still like wielding muskets and everything. Yeah, Empire Earth was a good one. That had a cool trailer too. I remember that. Yeah, that was an RTS I loved. I'm trying to think of some others. There are good RTSs out there. There were a lot. It was kind of a, those years were golden age. I got Total War, like Shogun Total War was wild. Like that game was a big deal to me. Yeah, it just didn't have good gameplay. I remember as a kid playing, I'm like, something about this just doesn't feel great playing it. It had like a gimmick, but otherwise, yeah, it didn't play as smooth, or it didn't have like that good feel that Age of Empires did. Yeah, Shogun Total War was solid. Could barely see what was going on in the battles, but man, that game was cool. What do you want to play, Big Pop? Are you wanting to do historical, or are you wanting to play Warhammer? Because I have played all of them, and I have recommendations. I played all of them but Three Kingdoms. Let me correct myself there. Because, you know, Warhammer is Warhammer, right? Answer the question is yeah. Okay, yeah. So, you know, I can't recommend Warhammer enough. If you like Warhammer Fantasy, you're going to like Total War Warhammer. So that's that. It's a big game, and all these Total War games are very difficult when you first play them. Warhammer also has the most DLCs by far, and for the most part, I kept up with the DLCs while the game was coming out. But I understand the price point of someone just getting the game and seeing hundreds of dollars worth of DLC being a problem. However, there is no requirement for DLC to play certain mechanics in the game. So it's not like a Paradox game. The DLCs are specifically like factions. And what you do is you buy Total War Warhammer 3. And the first two games, so 1 and 2, are just DLC for the third game. All they do is they each add 4 factions to the game. That's what they do. So if you keep that in mind, then you know, it makes it a little easier to digest. It's basically like you pick a faction. If you like that faction, you know, you can grab the DLC for them. Some DLCs just add like lords and units. Some DLC add like whole factions. So there's like the Vampire Coast and who else? I don't know. There's other factions like Tomb Kings and Beastmen and Wood Elves are all DLC. There's a ton of free downloadable content. I think if you have like a CA account, like a Creative Assembly account, like on their website, you just get like, you'll get like 150 downloads for free of like not stupid. Well, there's a lot of stupid things like screenshots or like backgrounds for your computer, but it's like Britonia is a free download faction. Units, tons of units that you add into to factions. Gotrek and Felix are a free DLC. Lords for factions are free DLC. There's tons of those. And it's like actual content for the game. So I think Isabella von Karstein is a free DLC. Yeah, there's a lot of that. Yeah, Wood Elf DLC is amazing. Wood Elves are a ton of fun to play. If you get the Wood Elves, they have 2 DLC. There's one that's their actual faction pack, and there's one that's a Lord pack. I can't remember the name of it, but it has the Sisters of Twilight. The Sisters of Twilight are my favorite to play as the Wood Elves, because they have the most, in my opinion, they have the most like classic Wood Elf feel of like playing with a lot of elves, skirmishing with ranged units, like playing, you know, like hit and run kind of tactics. And they're really cool. And they can like switch between the eagle or the dragon too, which is really cool. So but yeah, for Warhammer, that's what. And you got questions, dude, just send me a message or just ask me, because yeah, unrelated. Okay, that's fine. If you're playing historical, if you want to play historical, I actually recommend, and this might sound crazy. Well, okay, there's always the like pick an era that seems interesting to you. So, you know, if you want samurai, pick Shogun 2. If you want Roman antiquity, pick, you know, Rome or Rome 2. Rome 2 is probably, you know, much more modern. But if you want just like pure like quality gameplay, Pharaoh Dynasties. So Pharaoh Total War, or Total War Pharaoh. And it comes like there was like a big free update they did called Dynasties. It's incredible. It is Bronze Age Total War is what it is. It's called Pharaoh, but you don't have to play as Egypt. Egypt's just one of the factions. You can play as the Greeks, which so don't buy Troy Total War, because there's a Total War Troy, and all that got rolled into Pharaoh. So if you buy Total War Troy, you're just missing out on half a game. But you can play as like the Trojans, you can play as the Greeks, the Messenians, you can play as the Canaanites, you can play as Egyptians, you can play as the Sea People, you can play like crazy amounts of, you can play as Assyrians and Hittites and all kinds of stuff like that. So yeah, there's a lot you can do, but Pharaoh Dynasties was a ton of fun, and it's a really well done game, and it's really different from like any other Total War game, because things like cavalry is non-existent, because there wasn't really cavalry at the time. You can get chariots in the end game, but your like cavalry like soldiers are just like dudes with no armor, because when you have less armor you run faster, and so you use them as your flanking tree. It's wild. It's a cool game though. It's cool. Yeah, Pharaoh Dynasty is a great game, and I'm sad it didn't get as popular as it could have. Which, when it released, it wasn't great, because it was just Pharaoh and it was like Egypt Total War, and then they rolled it into Total War Troy and made it into the amazing game it is today. So it took them a good year to figure out how to make the game good. Hidden gems in Total War Warhammer. Beastmen and Tomb Kings are both really fun to play. Tomb Kings are about to get a big update soon, like next week, I think. They're about to get like a bunch of overhauls in their like campaign and stuff. But Beastmen are really fun. They're very like ambush, like you play to ambushes and you try to sneak around and burn down cities, and like you do better the more cities you burn down and everything. So a lot of cool stuff like that. I love Total War though. I have since I played, yeah, the original Shogun back in 2000. Then I actually skipped Medieval 1. But I played Rome Total War. I played so much Rome Total War as a teenager. I was thinking about Rome every day. Every single day. Deuce Fault. Yeah. Disappearing. Yes, that's what I would do. Yeah. Oh, another RTS classic, guys. We can't forget this one. Battle for Middle-earth. That game was the reason I got my own PC. Was Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth. Second one's fantastic. Yeah, and you can actually get Battle for Middle-earth for free. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. It is a free game at this point because it's dead software. So you can download it for free, and I think it's legal. I don't think the company that made it exists anymore, except for like EA is still around, but they dropped it. But the yeah, they there's some modders that took it over. It's called the Age of the Ring, and yeah, you can just download the whole thing from like ModDB. You didn't like the balance changes they made in the mod? Okay, that's fair. I played it for a bit. I played the mod for a bit, but you know, playing a mod focus on multiplayer is you know, not as fun when you don't have like people to play with, right? So, and how it is. Perfect way to run certain missions, which made it less fun. Oh, that's too bad. Helm's Deep was bad? Oh, okay. Wait, so did they redo the campaign too? Is that what they did? I didn't know they did anything to the campaign. Or was it Deep was to span elven archers as much as you could, yeah. That's how I won Helm's Deep back in the day anyway. Wouldn't bring Rohirrim to that battle, they're worthless. Little farmers, yeah. The Rohan peasants. Yeah, I get it, Yeah, you want different ways to win the mission, right? Interesting. Okay. You know the way to win Helm's Deep in the original game? It was just have Legolas. As long as he was alive by the time he got to Helm's Deep, which was really easy. He was already level 10, and the dude would just win. War of the Ring. Which game was War of the Ring? War of the Ring was Oh, you know what, Cultured American? I remember. It came out around the same time as Battle for Middle-earth. But it wasn't a... yeah, it wasn't the... it wasn't based on the Peter Jackson films. So I remember I bought it. I was like, oh, cool, another Lord of the Rings strategy game. This is going to be the coolest thing. And I remember like looking at the game, like the game manual after buying the game, and I was like, oh, wait. This isn't what I thought it was. I also remember installing on my computer and it would not run. So I think that game was too powerful for my PC at the time. So I owned it, and I might still have that game up on my shelf. Like the CD case and everything. But I never played it. Maybe I played it once or twice. I maybe played a little bit. It's way harder than only winnable by doing that. Okay. That's too bad, Raja. It was a Warcraft reskin. See, that makes sense. And I played Warcraft, I want to say Warcraft 2 on PlayStation. It was on the original PlayStation. Whatever Warcraft RTS is on that. That was the only Warcraft I ever played before World of Warcraft. So I would have never picked up that it was a reskin. Is this highlighting okay? Yeah, okay. We just need to do chunkier highlights on this because by getting the definition I want out of stuff here. Two Towers game? Yeah, Two Towers and Return of the King were some of the best hack and slash games I ever played. I remember going to GameStop and buying the Return of the King, and I was 13, and it was right before Return of the King the film came out, and I remember going with my mom to buy it, and the guy at the cash register said, He said, "Are you sure you want to buy this?" He's like, "This is going to spoil the movie if you play through it." And I was like, "I don't care." I was like, "I already know the ending. I read the books, dude." Yeah, Two Towers was amazing, though. I used to play it with my brothers a bunch. And again, you just play Legolas and you just win. Oh man, my brother gets so mad at me too, because I would always play Legolas and then he would want to play someone else. Or he'd have to play like Aragorn or Gimli. And I would just steal every single kill. I'd just shoot everybody before they got to us, and he'd just get furious about it. It's funny. We do that playing Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance also. Another great hack and slash game. Yeah, Gimli's complaining he's kill stealing. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, like how Legolas kills a Muma kill in the movie and like 50 dudes on top of it, and Gimli complains that it's only counts as one. It still only counts as 12, yeah. That's actually a great typo. Appreciate that. We watched those a couple weeks ago. Whole family watched the trilogy. So good. I get my son to scream death with me now when Theoden gives his speech at Pelennor. It's my proudest dad moment. This kid learns nothing from me, at least he'll know. But that's the appropriate time to scream death. Well, it's only one of my friend group to have read the book. Yeah. Right. Helm's Deep is like a legitimately incredible like battle scene though. The fact it took them like 9 months to film that is wild. But yeah, the Ride of the Rohirrim is probably the most epic moment in the entire trilogy. I told Aragorn to toss him. Yeah, but don't tell the yeah. It's always good. Ruins and a sandstone color theme would still work for 40k bases. Absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly what I do. Like look at my base. It's ruins but with a sandstone color. I'm doing that exact thing, Sith Ice. I think it works well. Yeah, there you go. I think that'd be cool. Okay, so something I have to do here. I got the paint. Did I tell you guys about the exploding miniatures I had? I don't know if I told you guys about that. I want to build a Drukari army? They're so fragile and small. Yeah, you get stabbed a lot. That's how. So, my son and I... When was this? Was this past weekend, maybe? Or... time last week? I don't remember when this was now. We were kind of cleaning up some stuff, and I had him clean up his miniatures that he had out, some miniatures that he painted. And he goes, he grabs a mini. He comes up to me. He's like, "Dad," he's like, "this miniature's sticky." And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Let's look. What does it look like?" He shows me his hand. It's covered in resin, in liquid resin. I was like, "Oh, okay. Like, let's figure out what mini this is." And it was this 3D printed troll that I had printed for him years ago. But his hand was like covered in resin. I was like, "How is there this much resin in in like one of these minis?" And so I go and look at the mini. It is split in half. And it's completely hollow on the inside. And my thought was like, I remember printing these. You know, he painted it and everything, and I told him, I was like, "Go wash your hands like 6 times." Yeah, and he kept washing his hands throughout the day. He was, he was kind of freaking out, but he does, and that's fine. I don't mind if he freaks out about that. So I was like, okay. I was like, man, that's bad. I was like, wait a minute. I have one of these 3D printed trolls that's in a box right now. Oh no, I wonder if it's exploded. So I was like, maybe I'll get it before it explodes, because this like just happened like that day. And so I come down to my room, I open the box where it is, and sure enough, it is broken wide open with resin all over the box and on a bunch of old minis and stuff that I had. So I have an exploded troll also. And I was like, that is wild that these minis, like, they're hollow, but they didn't have drain holes. I didn't print these hollow. So I went and looked at my STLs, and I pulled up one of the trolls, and it was solid. And I was like, that's weird. I pulled up a supported version, a pre-supported version of this troll, which is what I would have printed. It was hollow with no drain holes. So the creator, who's a really big STL creator for like Middle-earth minis and stuff, they had accidentally hollowed the minis on the supported version, and I guess they didn't realize it. So I don't know how many people have printed these trolls, and after 2 years of these trolls being printed, they exploded. There's going to be a bunch of people that are really unhappy because they printed these trolls, and no one's going to have any idea until it happens. It was full of resin. It was a crazy amount of resin that went everywhere. So that's yeah, I actually messaged the creator. I sent him a message on like My Mini Factory, and which they make great minis. I've printed a ton of their minis. As far as like Middle-earth stuff goes, and they make great stuff, and like I would recommend them to people, but it's a weird mistake. And I messaged them and never got like a response or anything. I wanted to tell them like, hey, these minis are hollow, like you gotta do something about that, like tell people, but I hadn't heard anything. So yeah, I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, was not happy about that. Yeah, so much for pre-sports. Also, Gemini, what's up? Okay. Let's... If there's a way to find out who purchased it. No, probably... Well, from him, yes. But, yeah, it is a very good reminder, Gemini. Yeah, always check your files before you print stuff, because yeah, you never know if something's gonna be wonky. Um, yeah, oh, no problem, no problem. Thanks for the raid. That was you, right? That raided me. I think we had a couple people raid one after another, but I hope you're having a good day, Gemini. Yeah, guys, can't trust everything when it comes to 3D print stuff. It's just wild, like tiniest. Yeah, that's fine. It happens. Still appreciate it. Get this gray. So we want to do some dark neutral gray. Yeah, the creator should have an idea of who purchased it, but normally what creators can do is they can update the file, and if they update it, it will send a message to everyone who purchased it, and it'll tell them it was updated, and they can put a statement in like why they updated or what was updated. So but yeah, and it makes you wonder, like, as you know, for that person, is that something you want to own up to and warn people about, or are they just wanting to let it fly under the radar? So they don't, like, you know, embarrass themselves, I guess. Like, whoops, I made this mistake years ago. You guys better throw away your minis real quick. But mess, UV light, yeah. The fumes are the worst part, in my opinion. It just stinks. Yeah, like if you don't have a dedicated spot, and you know you can't do all the things you need to do to make sure everything's like proper and safe, I don't think there's really a point in getting one. What you got to do, Cultured American, is convince a friend of yours to get one, and then just buy them resin to print you stuff. Larger minis, just to make sure things like that aren't a problem. That's a really fair point. Well, and these minis weren't like huge either. Like, it's about the size of a cave troll from the Middle Earth SPG. Which, I mean, if you guys understand like how big those are, I think they were on a 40 mil base for a very long time. If that gives you an idea of how big these minis are. Balls being so okay, well, that's fair. I'll give you that. I mined a fume hood, venting out a window in my basement. Yeah, yep. So I have a it's basically like a grow container over mine. It's like a fume thing, and I learned, well, I had it, I'd vent it outside, or you know, I'd vent it directly into like an air purifier and stuff, and I'd still get the fumes. The thing I learned, or the trick I learned, was if I just don't turn on the fan from inside the little enclosure, all the fumes stay in there, and then there's no fumes at all, or very little until you open it up and cure stuff. But there's going to be fumes anyway because you're opening things up. So that's the trick. I feel singled out by that statement, but I also agree with it. Best 3D printers, your buddies. Yeah, it's like owning a pickup truck, right? The utility of a 3D printer for someone in this hobby is like immeasurable, but it is a lot. I'm happy Zen got like his Bamboo Labs, like the filament printer, and we can just kind of mooch prints off of each other now. Like that's nice, because then, you know, I've been wanting a filament printer anyway, but I don't want to deal with another 3D printer, so worked out for me. He buys me resin and I'll buy him filament, and we'll we'll just go from there. The resin's more expensive, but you print a lot smaller things with it. Okay, so a couple things I need to do with this mini. I need to weather some of these points. I think part of this is going to be some silver kind of.
First of all, let me take just a moment to thank you for allowing me back into your home.
Simulacra, welcome. Welcome in. How did the bolt gun print turn out? Oh, it turned out awesome. Yeah, he's printed a bunch. He printed a plasma pistol for me, which is pretty great. This filament printer fairly detailed prints like resin. It can print minis. The minis don't look as good as resin, but it can print some pretty detailed stuff. He's printed some pretty crazy things with that, though. He's printed like musical instruments and upgrades for his printer, which is what every 3D printer does. But yeah, no, he prints all kinds of things, and they get really detailed. Recasting Iron Hand's upgrade sprue. Actually, just the shoulder pads, though. Yeah, that's cool. Hey, you know what, Sith Ice? Doing that on your own and doing those like little recast things like that, that's a great idea in my opinion. I think that is a solid use of skills, especially with things like shoulder pads. Those are probably the easiest ones to do that with. Oh yeah, I have a piece. Zen printed me this chainmail stuff. Look at this. That's 3D printed. Isn't that crazy? You can get kind of lock in place, but yeah, it folds on itself and everything. Yeah, and this was just a little sheet that he printed. He's like, yeah, it was like 10 cents of filament for this stuff. That was it. Yeah, it's cool. Okay, come back to the hair. Yeah, 3D printing for LARPing is huge. Yeah, or any kind of like cosplay. Yeah. FDM printers, so if you ask someone with an FDM printer, they'll tell you no, they don't need ventilation. However, I have read that FDM printers still give off fumes, and they still put out like toxic material in the air. So I would play it safe, because at the end of the day, you're burning plastic. Like, you're melting plastic. You know, like, whether they say there's fumes or not, like, we all know melting plastic is not good. So, but it doesn't seem as bad. There's no isopropyl that you have to deal with. There's no, yeah, it's not like VOC. You're not dealing with like volatile organic compounds and stuff like you are with resin. So, because half of my issue with the resin is just all the amount of isopropyl that you use, and like you have to use it to cure the resin and stuff. Whereas the filament printers are just they're literally just your print's done, you pull it off the plate, and then clip off supports. If it has supports, you can print a lot of stuff without supports, but it's just ready to go after that. There's no like extra curing process or anything. Yeah, you shouldn't be printing where you sleep. Yeah. Yeah, the water-soluble resins themselves are still toxic. you can't. Water is so bad at cleaning resin. Even the water washable stuff, the water washable resins are terrible. Also, like they're really bad. They're extra brittle. They're not as strong. But yeah, I guess that technically is an option if you don't like the IPA, but okay, so I need to figure out like heat damage. Tried to use ABS like resin. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, the ABS like stuff is good. That's what I use. Yeah. I put a little bit of tenacious, like Ceratec tenacious resin in mine, so I blend it a little bit. But it gets me a little bit more flexibility in there, which is nice. What I think I'm going to do, I'm going to change this up a little bit. Yes, they did Misfit. They did 15 years ago. They did a big refresh. They didn't sell as well as they wanted. They just said, okay, that's it. We'll be done. And never touched Drukhari again. Make this dude extra pale is what I'm gonna do. I don't like any of the Craft World factions. Yeah, I mean, Drukhari are super cool, so. Range refresh and Codex toward the end of 10th. I don't know if they'll get a range refresh. If they get a range refresh, it might not be until next edition. I think the safe bet is they're gonna release Lady Malice, and then they'll update one of the resin sets to plastic. So whether that's Beastmaster and the Beasts, whether that's Grotesque, which is probably the most likely one, or the Court of the Archon. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be one special character and one plastic. That's what it's been the past 5 editions of Warhammer. That's all they're going to do. Keep in mind, Dark Eldar have not gotten a new unit since 5th edition. They have lost models every edition and have not gotten anything new. All they've gotten is a resin kit turned to plastic every edition. 1 troop and 1 hero. That's what they've gotten for their new codexes. Or do something a little crazy. Let's see if we can do this. I gotta make him look like he's dead, right? Beastmaster and Beastery. Put those together. Homunculi, which sound like it'd be a cool battle force. Yeah, it would be. That's too much though. They're not getting Lady Mal's Grotesque and Beastmasters. They're not getting all that. That is way too much of an update for Dark Eldar. Yeah, they'll get a codex. Yep. They'll get a codex. I wonder what unit they'll remove. They will remove one of the 3 units from their codex. It'll be Grotesques, the Court of the Archon, or Beastmasters will be outright removed. Because every edition they lose a unit out of their codex. And, yeah, and then one of those units will be updated to plastic. It could be just Yuri and Rakarth that gets updated, and Lady Mouse is just like a red herring, which would be really funny. And she just never gets released. They show the model and it's just like, it's nothing. That'd be pretty funny. You know, I gotta see something real quick. There's the Space Wolves. Shame someone commissioned a whole. I would mind. I'd paint an army of Space Wolves. They're not hard to paint. I mean, they're the Heresy look is way better than the 40k look. The powder blue is not good for me, but yeah, I'd have no any of the Heresy armies. That'd be cool to paint. Okay, I need to grab something real quick. I'll be back in just a minute, guys. Okay. Yeah, the Heresy colors, good. Yeah, the Legion's garbage. Yep. Hey, so there's an air show happening relatively close to me, relatively soon. Would you guys want me to just stream with the window open and see if we can hear some airplanes? I'm trying to find some Space Wolf transfers here. Space Wolf one's in there. No, oh, those are open. That's a new one. Yeah, okay. We'll see if we can hear some jets and stuff soon. Okay, that's all the new ones. Let's see. Let's pull out all of my Space Marine transfer sheets here. Ultramarines, Ultramarines, Ultramarines. Ultramarines, more Ultramarines. Look at that, more Ultramarines. It's generic, but nothing. More Ultramarines. Oh, it's a 10th edition one. A bunch of 10th edition ones. Okay. That one have it? No, that's also 10th. It has the Raptors. I don't know why Raptors got a whole section dedicated here. Their transfers. Okay, no, looks like I don't have any Space Wolf transfers. Maybe what I do, I'll take from the Ultramarines tree, or I could Legion specific. Here we go. Okay. This is from Saturnine. My first use of this transfer sheet. Except I don't know if there's not like a heavy support icon, is there? Dang it. Do we just do no transfers on this dumb Marine here? Got a Heresy vehicle one. There's the vehicle transfer sheet, but there's anything good here. Let's see. It's more vehicles. Solar Ox vehicles. Yeah, I don't think there's anything good. Do a virtual tour of the museum at Dayton. Oh yeah, the Air Force Museum. Oh man, I didn't realize they did a virtual tour. That's really cool. That is my favorite museum. Just something about that museum is so cool, and it's free. So you can donate $5 and get a map if you want, which I would recommend anyway because it's $5, but also it's necessary. It's like 4 giant hangars. Oh yeah, Ramstein. Yeah, Germany's popular for air shows. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay, we're not doing transfers on this chump. Too bad. Too bad, dude. You don't get Space Wolf nonsense on you. We're gonna take some black. We're gonna mix it with some brown. We're gonna try to do some burn marks. I don't know how good I'm gonna be at this, but we're gonna try it. Yeah, it's gonna be a crazy weekend. It's gonna be a very loud weekend, which I don't mind because it's super cool. So, but yeah, I'll stream. So tomorrow I think the aircraft will be out practicing. So they'll do like training and practice runs and stuff. Friday the air show starts, so I should be able to hear everything on Friday. I don't know, depending on what Zendral's doing. I'll turn on stream on Friday. We'll just stream with the windows open during the air show. They gave the time frames for everything when everything's happening, so I think like around 12:30 or noon is like the big time for some of the big things happening. What's up, Phaedros? I am working on the base of a well, the thing I'm painting is a Space Wolf Predator turret that was destroyed, and it's going on the base of my Saturnine Dreadnought. So my Dreadnought's going to be stepping all over it. It's going to be great. I want to avoid making this guy too bloody, but I feel like he might need some blood. Seeing restream, do you generally start just ending streams? Yeah, the lack of rating probably does affect my visibility, my draw. Yeah, I don't rate a whole lot anymore, but yeah, it's harder to rate out with restream, so I have to like open up Twitch and then I have to like do and I'm really forgetful about it anyway. And my antisocial self, like I'm pretty wiped out by the end of a stream regardless, so it ends up just being a whole thing. I do have a goal for myself though, guys, in September. I am going to try to, if I can, if things work out, I'm going to try to stream 5 days a week. Or 5 weekdays. We'll see if I'm able to do that. So Restream, when I have the OBS open with Restream, it opens chat to both YouTube and Twitch, and for some reason it won't, like, I think like my slash commands don't work. They don't work with Restream. Yeah, I think I had tried that, but it just doesn't. Maybe there's a way to get it to work. Ashrace Nomads having the shell for like 2 years. Oh, cool. Yeah, those are cool minis. Try to just put some like black paint down. Just kind of dab it around. And get like burned soot in places. Yeah, and, you know, I might just be an idiot with it too, so there's a very good chance that I'm just stupid, so I can't figure it out. Yeah, that's fair, Mydro. I know. I should raid more. Not probably, I definitely should. I know. I should be sharing you wonderful people with the world, but I keep you all to myself. Is there someone good that's on you want to raid today? I'll be more than happy to raid someone today. I won't even feel pressured into it. I'll just do it. All right. Yeah, I think a lot of it's like, you know, you stream for a long time, and I stream quite a bit. Like I don't stream nearly as much as a lot. There's a lot of people out there that just stream like 7 days a week or hours and hours every day, and I can't like physically and mentally do that. But like it gets kind of exhausting, and like, you know, I gotta deal with burnout and stuff, and you know, like going through the motions and doing all those like typical like stream things. It's kind of tiring sometimes, and you know, I like to meet new people and I like to hang out with people and see what people are doing and everything, but yeah. I used to chill with Studio J7 quite a bit. No, he's a cool dude. I used to rate him a lot. I don't, yeah, since I'm really bad at rating anymore. Yeah, sometimes, man, I raid and it's just like fighting the burnout basically. Or when I'm streaming. So I try to find stuff that I enjoy doing, or you know, if I have work to do, I'll just do work on stream because, you know, I got to do it anyway, kind of thing. But yeah, it just feels like raiding out and then spending extra time, and like, you know, I have like I'm always like, I got things to do, and I just feel like it's more that kind of adds to that that kind of thing. You guys have to understand that I am a pretty antisocial person by nature, a definite introvert, and I like streaming. I like hanging out with you guys and everything, but it definitely is like an exhausting thing. What camera do I use? I have a Lumix GX85. That's what I use. Yeah. 1 hour, 4 nights a week. I get worn out. Yeah. I used to stream. When I started streaming, it was 2 nights a week. I would stream, and I'd stream for about 2 hours, and that got kind of rough. But then I was working full time and I was doing other stuff. When I started doing commission painting full time, I kept up that stream schedule. I just paint commissions like on my own time and like the quiet during the day and stuff. And was it last year? I just decided to start streaming during the weekdays and kind of like made it a thing. And it had to have been 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago I started doing that. Yeah, it was 2 years ago. And what happened, my draw, I made it like a challenge. Like, yeah, okay, September, I'm streaming 5 days a week. We're going to paint all this stuff. We're going to get all these things done. And so I streamed Monday to Friday. I streamed like 4 hours a day. And after like 3 weeks of that, my channel exploded. I got 1,500 follows in like 3 months. It was crazy the amount of followers I got. And like I had viewership that was like averaging like 60 viewers a stream, and it was crazy. And so I just kept doing it. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna keep this up, because obviously like you don't just like give up on like that crazy growth. And I was like, yeah, I made it. I'm gonna be a long time pro by the time it came around. Oh yeah. Well, I've been streaming since 2021, so yeah, I've been streaming since, I think it was like March of 2021. It's about 4.5 years I've been streaming, but my channel like exploded. I had tons of viewers. I will admit, guys, I sent an email to Games Workshop and I was like, hey, can I be part of your affiliate program? I started email. I was like, here's my average viewership. I know you guys kind of have like a minimum, and I was like, I'm making the minimum, and like it's time. Like I'm here's my rate of viewer gathering and all this stuff. Twitch was putting me on the front page of the like, there was like a miniatures and hobbies. It wasn't a channel, but it was like a category, like a weird category. And I was on the front page, like people were coming in from the front page of Twitch and everything, from like homepage recommendations. And then all of a sudden I start streaming this one week, just continuing that, and it just stopped. I was at like 20 viewers all week, and I was like, what is going on? Like they took me out of that, and then like my channel just died down again to like what it was before. And it was it really sucked. It kind of took the wind out of my sails, Yeah, it was wild. It was wild that like Twitch just puts you on like the front page. Like someone that's there just sees you and they're like, yeah, let's put this dude up there. And then you just like your channel just goes crazy. Yeah, John Lockridge, what's up, man? Yeah, Dawn of War 4. I watched a few videos today about the first impressions from a couple content creators. Turin RTS and Milk and Cookies Total War were the two I watched. Just to kind of get an idea of like what they, like what they saw and everything. So it was cool. It was cool. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, we'll get this guy again. Yeah, streaming is a fickle beast, and you never know when it's gonna be like turn out really well for you, or just gonna be like a horrible slog. Yeah, like I have a lot of like built-in disadvantages. Like I don't show my face on stream, so that's something that like Twitch generally hates as an algorithm kind of thing. And yeah, I guess I'm not streaming 5-6 days a week, so they don't like that. I don't stream during primetime hours usually, so like that's not a thing. Obviously, like, we're in a pretty small channel, so it's not like we're streaming and like just chatting or whatever. So yeah, that's all right though. Hey guys, can you hear me? Can you hear me? No, that was me, my stream dying on my end. I don't know if that was just Twitch. That's a whole other thing going on, is my internet and or Twitch being a whole problem. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I don't know. There's some thoughts for me about streaming. I don't think I at this point in my whole like streaming journey, I wouldn't want to be affiliated with Games Workshop. Not that I think that they would streaming. I don't think I at this point in my whole like streaming journey, I wouldn't want to be affiliated with Games Workshop. Not that I think that they would ever partner with my channel anyway, just because I paint a lot of okay, and I apologize. Okay, and I apologize. We are back, and I don't know what's going on, because this is what this dumb thing does to me all the time. So yeah, I am pretty happy with this model here. I need to varnish the Dreadnought. I gotta varnish this piece. And then we're gonna start gluing, and then we have final weathering things to do that involve a lot of sand and stuff. If this